Hey, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the Gotham and Beyond podcast. Today is episode 9, and today is going to be a little bit different. No power break now, no hero point lesson. Instead, I'm going to be talking about a module. Yeah, a module. That's right. I did talk about doing this in the past, and now it's time to actually jump into it. We can all read the rules ourselves, but a lot of people wanted to hear about some of the modules and how they worked and things like that. It's a full adventure, the one we're talking about today. It's a slice of the old Mayfair design pulled from the early days of DC Heroes. This module is called Hive. I know you're interested in this one. A lot of people are interested in this module. If you've never cracked it open, don't worry. I'll walk you through it, how it works, why it works, where it struggles, and how to run it cleanly in a modern 3E game. Let's start really simple here. What is Hive? Now, if you only know the cartoon version, you're going to have to reset your expectations here. The Hive in this module is not the bright colors or the classroom drama. It's a professional organization, cold, silent, efficient. Think military think tank with a criminal twist to them. They hire out talent, they train operatives, they run quiet operations behind the scenes. They are not LexCorp. They are not an inner gang. They sit in the middle, not cosmic, not street tough. A group with reach and patience, which makes them perfect for a wide range of heroes to go against. This module takes that version of Hive and hands you a full operation against them. You get some entry points, NPCs, objectives, plot flexibility enough to drop into Gotham, Metropolis, or whatever city you want to use it. It's not railroady, it's more of like a toolkit when it comes to the module, which is a little bit unusual for some of these modules of the time because a lot of them were very railroady, especially TSR modules. They were very railroady ish. This is more of a toolkit, but you have to run it with an expectation and some intentions involved. So the adventure is split into a couple different phases. You can run them in one long sitting or split them into smaller arcs. It's really up to you. First is the briefing. Your heroes get the intel, not perfect intel, just enough to point them at the suspicious facility run by Hive. This part is designed to wake your detective skills up, your connections, your players who like digging before the fighting, the people that like to talk, your faces of the group, investigation, exploration, things like that. Then comes infiltration. This module offers a multiple entry paths, a front door, a fake ID, stealth, social angles, and even a brute force approach if your team insists on that type of approach. I mean, it really depends on your group, but they try to cover as much as possible when it comes to this module. Inside, you hit the information web, strange tech, dossiers, lab notes, internal memos. This is where the clues tie together. You can reward good rolls with a line of evidence that leads even deeper, or you can let them stumble into problems if they rush in headfirst. It's really up to how your group goes. Finally, there is a confrontation, not always a boss fight. Sometimes it's an operative, sometimes it's a hidden lab team, sometimes it's even an experiment. This module scales pretty well, but the GM has to choose the right target for the group. That is the basic spine of this entire thing. Now, let me tell you why this module works so well. Well, it respects the players, it assumes heroes can think, it expects them to use skills outside of combat, so you can't just really use your fist here. In fact, if your table rushes into punching, they will miss half the experience of this module. Hive is this Hive module is basically about espionage and about uncovering what sits behind a polished front. One of the best scenes in the module is a simple office space, nothing wild, no traps, just normal desks, filing cabinets, elevator keys. But the clues in this space, they can definitely change the whole direction of the mission if depending on how you handle it. When I ran this, one player rolled a strong detective check. They spotted a tiny mismatch in the stack of security reports. They revealed forged timestamps, which exposed a false alibi, which then pointed them to a secure lab 3 floors below. Without that moment, they would have broken into the wrong wing or gone the wrong way. Who knows? This is the beauty of this module. Little things, little clues really matter. So let's talk a little bit about the mechanics of this whole thing. This module kind of predates 3E, but the conversion is pretty simple. You can run every scene using just basic, Megs checks. Security, use the thief skill. Detective, depending on the angle, it doesn't really matter. Interrogation, will versus charisma. Tech scans, intelligence with gadget rules if needed. It goes on and on. 2E, 3E, there's not much of a difference. There was mostly a difference when it came to 1E into 3E or 1E into 2E. That's when the real difference kind of really made a difference. The difference made a difference. Yeah, that works. The only update I probably make to this is the tech. The module references older computer systems. You can replace those with encrypted servers, biometric locks, drones, anything modern. The tone stays the same. The text just kind of updates, or the texture just kind of updates when it comes to that. Well, let's be fair here. The module has weaknesses too, and it's definitely a product of its time. You can definitely tell by reading it. So let's kind of look at that. Some clues sit in the middle of paragraphs. Some key NPCs are easy to miss because their write-ups hide in sidebars. There are moments where the adventure expects players to follow an intended path. A creative group might skip the whole scene if you do not guide them through it. It's not really railroading, it's more like guiding a group through certain things. Though I can see some GMs making that determination of, or players saying that it's railroading. There's a difference between guiding and railroading when it comes to gaming. That's for a different time, though. You need to keep the tension pointed. Remind players that Hive is very careful. They cover their tracks. They mislead investigators. If the team wanders, the trail should cool down. That brings them back on target without force. So if they start wandering around, it's best to just let them do what they want to do. And when they figure out that nothing's really happening, they'll eventually get back on track. I mean, it's not the best idea, but with this type of module, you have to remember that there is going to be some hand holding or ways to do things in this module. So let's talk a little bit about some of the strengths, the ones that hit every time. One, it's got a flexible scale. Street heroes can survive if they rely on skills. Heavy hitters still get challenged by layers of planning. This module respects any lineup you bring at them. Another one, smart NPC behavior. The operatives do not stand in hallways waiting to die. They retreat, they call for help, they erase data, they buy time, they think. They're not just autonomous like things going blah, 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 or just stupid monsters from D&D. The replay potential for this module is pretty high. This is kind of rare, but Hive can recruit different villains, and you can plug in any DC rogue as a contractor. That changes the tone and the difficulty without touching the core structure of this module. So there's always kind of a way that you can do that. Your group could face Deathstroke one run and a psychic contractor the next. Same mission, different flavor. There's a lot of foreshadowing in this for the final point here. This module leaves the door open. It ends, but it does not resolve Hive as a threat. They remain out there, waiting, watching, moving funds through false fronts. This is definitely perfect for a campaign seed over time. So finish this up, and then you can move forward with Hive as your big bad for the campaign season, or whatever you want to call it, arc, however you want to classify it in your group. They could be the overall bad guys in the background doing things, disrupting your city, giving a lot of problems for your heroes. So let me give you a moment from one of the runs that I did a long time ago. The players spit. Woo! The players split up inside the facility. Half took the roof, half checked the lower labs. The roof team found a common array. Looked normal, but the perception roll exposed a hidden power conduit. A single cable ran into the basement room not listed on any blueprint. They followed it, cut the power, the basement door hissed open, and the real operation revealed itself. A Hive conditioning chamber computers mapping neural responses, training footage, rows of chairs. They had stumbled into the recruitment lab, all because they rolled well and followed a line of power. Small clues, big payoffs. This is like the DNA of all modules. And when players figure it out and move along, it's kind of a fun thing to watch. If you run this module, Hive, bring the tone. This is not a brawl, it's a cold room, clean floors, quiet guards, people who do not brag, people who do not grandstand. These are professionals. Make it feel organized, make it feel calm. The danger should come from precision, not chaos. This isn't Cobra, and I'm not talking about G.I. Joe Cobra. This isn't Cobra and his minions. And when Hive notices the heroes, don't throw bodies at them because Hive wouldn't do that. Cut the lights, seal the doors, start wiping the servers, trigger the silent alarms, move assets off site, maybe even put in a self destruct. Who knows? A calm enemy, a calm enemy is more frightening than a loud one. So here's my honest take of this module after reading it again after some time and actually running it in the past and kind of remembering the situation here and there in my head. Many years of playing games over and over. Sometimes when you run things, you kind of forget. Now, I don't really like running modules all that much, but I have run a bunch of DC ones because I wanted to see how they worked. So the Hive module is not really flashy. It's not really cosmic. It's filled with bombastic. It's really not, I should say, filled with all these bombastic fights. But it is one of the best early adventures for teaching players how to use the non-combat parts of DC heroes, like detective checks that matter, connections that matter, using your resources, willpower that matters, discipline matters. If your campaign needs a strong middle arc or a clean entry point for starting something, drop Hive into your city and let the players chase the truth around and just follow it. It's a great, great module to do. I mean, they will uncover something eventually. They will push deeper because it'll be really interesting. And everybody knows Hive. They're familiar with Hive. So they'll know something about Hive. If you're playing DC Heroes, you're going to know about Hive. So if you don't know about Hive, then I don't know why you're playing DC Heroes, to be honest. But whatever, right? I mean, it's kind of one of the things that attracted me to the game itself was, playing DC Heroes because I like playing. I mean, I like reading DC comics or reading about Hive and Checkmate and all those other things over the years. It definitely intrigued me into wanting to play a module where these guys are focused as the main bad villains. And I would love to see these guys in a campaign. If I was playing in it and I had to follow through this and went through it, and obviously there's no way to really hide it from your players unless you keep it on the computer and they don't see it. But I mean, they see it, big deal. But I don't know. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Tell me what you think in the comments, either wherever you're listening to this or YouTube or Spotify or whatever. Just I'd like to hear your thoughts on this module if you've run it, how it's worked out for you, things like that. With that said, I'm going to head out. Don't forget to check out our website, Gotham database.com is our website. You can follow us on Twitter, Gotham Database. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channels and rate us on Apple or Spotify, please. All those things help us. With that said, I'm going to head out. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time on the Gotham and Beyond podcast.